The paper hit Zara's hands 3 hours after her boss tried to rape her. Richard Ashford stood in the doorway, shirt still messed up from where she pushed him off, smiling while security walked her out. He had no idea. The nobody maid he just attacked? She was engaged to Kim Tae-min, the man who owned his entire hotel. The same man who ran Seoul's most feared crime family. In 3 days, Tae-min would destroy Richard's whole life. His job, his freedom, his marriage, everything. All because Richard touched the wrong woman. But here's the crazy part. The revenge wasn't even the best part. It was what Tae-min built after. And how many other women finally spoke up. This is what happens when a predator messes with someone who has real power. This is the true story. One assault. One man sent to prison for 12 years. And how it created a place that now protects thousands of women. Hit subscribe. Next week, how Zara saved Tae-min's life during a parking garage shooting. She had no idea who he was. Now let's get into this. Zara stood between 2 security guards. The paper shook in her hands. Her wrists still hurt from where Richard grabbed her. Her shirt was torn at the shoulder. 3 hours ago, she was counting towels. Now they're throwing her out like a criminal. The paper said, fired immediately, inappropriate conduct and assault of management. He said, she assaulted him. Richard leaned against the door, arms crossed, smiling. Same face that was in hers in that storage room. Same breath on her neck, same hands on her body. Same voice saying he'd make things very difficult if she didn't cooperate. She'd pushed him so hard he crashed into the shelves, bottles everywhere. Then she ran. 3 hours. That's all it took. He flipped the story, typed the papers, got security ready. But Richard didn't see Jiwoo in the back hallway. Phone already at his ear. Face white. Not scared for himself, scared of what was coming. Because Tae-min just heard 4 words that made his blood freeze. Sir, someone hurt her. 8 minutes. That's all Richard had left. Here's what Zara never told anyone at work. She'd been with Tae-min for 2 years, engaged for 14 months, and she'd watched him destroy people before. Business rivals, politicians who took his money then betrayed him. He was surgical, calculated, absolute. One phone call could end a career. Leaked information could ruin a reputation. People disappeared from their industries, but she'd never seen him destroy someone for her. That was about to change. That morning started normal. Tae-min was already dressed. Black suit, hair perfect. That dangerous energy filling their whole apartment. Zara was putting on her maid uniform. Navy dress, white apron. The outfit that made rich people look right through her. I don't like you working there, he said in Korean. They'd had this fight 63 times. I like my own money, my own life. I'm not sitting here all day, waiting for our wedding. His jaw got tight. That look. The one that meant he was stopping himself from just ordering her not to go. At least take Jiwoo. He stays in the building. Tae-min, I clean hotel rooms. What's gonna happen? Someone attacks me with a pillow. She had no idea how much she'd regret that. He walked over, hands on her waist, pulled her close. You know what I do. That makes enemies. People who'd hurt you to get to me. Nobody there knows I'm engaged to you. I'm just Zara Thompson, maid from Atlanta on a work visa. She touched his face. I'll be careful. He kissed her. Deep. Possessive. The kind that says mine without words. Jiwoo stays in the hotel. Not negotiable. She agreed. Didn't know it yet. But that security guard? Only reason Tae-min wouldn't kill someone today. Here's what people don't get about men like Tae-min. They don't stay in power by hurting people constantly. They stay in power because everyone knows they can. One big show of violence buys you years of fear. Tae-min hadn't personally hurt anyone in 13 months. Richard was about to reset that clock to 0. The storage room needed inventory. Normal Monday thing. Zara had done this job 7 months. Count towels, check supplies, write what they need. Easy. Safe. Boring. She was on her knees counting when she heard it. Door closing, click, lock. She turned. Richard Ashford stood there, blocking the exit. Richard was 47, 6 feet, former athlete. Still looked it. Expensive suits. Rolex. 9 years running this hotel. 340 employees under him. Thought he answered to some faceless board in Korea. He was also a predator, and he'd gotten very good at hunting. Zara, he said, like he'd been practicing her name. Working hard. She stood slow, every instinct screaming. Small room, no windows, soundproof. Nobody would hear her scream. Mr. Ashford, just finishing inventory. I know, I've been watching you. Stipe, closer. She stepped back. Her back hit shelves. You're very good at your job. Very thorough. Very beautiful. Stay professional. He's being gross. Document it. Report to HR later. Thank you, sir. I should get back. I've noticed how you move. How you smile at guests. You're wasted as a maid, Zara. You could be so much more. Another step. She could smell his cologne. Expensive. The smell would make her sick for months. I'm happy with my job. Are you? His eyes went down her body. Slow. I could make things easy. Better shifts. Better pay. You're on a work visa, right? I sponsor those. Could make yours permanent. Her hands became fists. Not inappropriate anymore. This was a threat dressed as an offer. I appreciate it, but I'm not interested. Don't be stupid. Voice went hard. You know how many women would kill for this? How many immigrant workers I could replace you with tomorrow? She made her first mistake, looked him dead in the eye. I'm engaged. In hotel power games? That's a challenge. From a visa-holding immigrant maid to a white male boss? That's war. Richard's face went red. Engaged? To who? Some other minimum wage worker? He laughed. You think that matters? You think your fiancé's gonna protect you from me? He moved fast. Hand shot out. Grabbed her wrist. Yanked her forward. She stumbled into him. His other arm wrapped around her waist. Pinned her against his chest. Let me go. Voice shook but stayed firm. Shh. Stop fighting. This'll be easier if you just... His hand slid up her ribs, going for her chest. She didn't think. Just reacted. Palm to his nose. Not hard enough to break it. Hard enough to shock him. His grip loosened. She shoved with everything. Richard stumbled back into shelves. Metal crashing. Supplies falling. Bottles rolling. He caught himself. Hand on his nose. Eyes wide, she actually fought back. You bitch! Zara ran. Grabbed the door, yanked it open. Burst into the hallway. Heart pounding so hard she could hear it. Hands shaking. Speed walked to the elevator. Not running. Don't draw attention. Don't throw up. Made it to the break room. Locked herself in a bathroom stall. Sat down. Shook. Everyone says stay calm. Document everything. Report to HR. Follow the rules. Trust the system. Zara had worked hotels 8 years. She knew exactly how the system worked. She reports him. He denies it. Her word against his. She's the one who gets quietly fired for creating problems. But she couldn't let this go. He assaulted her. Threatened her. Used her visa like a weapon. She pulled out her phone. Started to text Taemin. Fingers hovering. If she told him, he'd kill Richard. Actually kill him. She'd seen that look before. When people threatened his family. She couldn't ask him to become a murderer for her. Put the phone away. She'd report it. Do it right. Trust the system. That decision lasted 2 hours, 47 minutes. At 2:15, security found her. Mr. Ashford wants to see you in his office. Stomach dropped. But she went. What choice did she have? Richard's office was glass and chrome and power. He sat behind his desk. Perfectly calm now. Hair neat, tie straight, nose fine. Sit. She stayed standing. He slid a paper across the desk, already printed, signed. Fired immediately. Inappropriate conduct and assault of management. I didn't assault you. You assaulted me. Not what the report says. He turned his computer screen. Incident report. Filed under his name. Timestamp, 10:47 a.m., 30 minutes after the storage room. Says here you offered me sexual favors for better shifts. When I refused and told you that's inappropriate, you got violent, hit me. That's a lie. It's documented, official, and there's more. He opened a folder. Photos. Her talking to male guests. Smiling. Being polite. Doing her job. Pattern of inappropriate behavior. Complaints about you. All documented. Those are fake. I never... You're on a work visa that I sponsor. Know how fast I can cancel it? You'll be deported in a week. Back to Atlanta with nothing. A firing on your record for sexual misconduct and assault. Good luck finding work anywhere. The room spun. This couldn't be happening. Unless, Richard said, voice dropping to something soft and evil. You want to reconsider my earlier offer. Apologize. Show me you can be cooperative. I can make this disappear. The choice became crystal clear. Let him assault her and keep her job. Or refuse and lose everything. Every woman knows this math. How much can you take? What's the price of dignity? How much power will you give a predator to survive? Zara looked at Richard Ashford. His smug smile, his Rolex, his certainty she was powerless, made her choice. I want my firing in writing. His smile got bigger. Already done. Pushed the paper at her. Security will walk you out. 5 minutes to get your stuff. If you try contacting any employees or guests, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. And I'll press charges for assault. She took the paper, hands shaking. Oh, and Zara? Richard stood, walked around the desk, leaned close enough she could smell his cologne again. Let this be a lesson. Women like you don't have power here. You're nothing. And if you try telling anyone, I'll destroy you. Pause. I've done it before. That last part. I've done it before. That's what haunted her most. How many other women? How many times? Silence. Complete. Total. In the elevator with security on both sides, Zara saw her reflection in the shiny doors. Torn shirt. Shaking hands. Every woman who'd ever been powerless against a predator who knew the system was broken. Her phone buzzed. Taemin's regular check-in. She answered, fingers shaking. Baby. His voice came sharp, concerned. What's wrong? Voice cracked. She wouldn't cry in front of these guards. Wouldn't give Richard that. I got fired. Why? She looked at the guards. Listening. Probably reporting back to Richard. Can I tell you when I get home? Pause. Jiwoo's in the building? Yes. Put him on. One guard was already handing her a phone. Not hers. Jiwoo appeared from wherever he'd been watching. Face like stone. She gave him Taemin's call. Watched his face not change as he listened. Watched him look at her torn shirt. Her shaking hands. Understood. Jiwoo spoke fast in Korean. She caught pieces. Yes. Storage room. Fired. He put his hands on her. Taemin's voice came through the speaker. Loud enough for Zara to hear. One word. In English, so she'd understand exactly. Everyone. Jiwoo's eyes went slightly wider. Hyungnim, are you... Everyone who helped him? Everyone who knew and did nothing? Everyone. Pause. Get her home. I'm calling Minjun. Lean went dead. Zara looked at Jiwoo. What did he say? Jiwoo's face stayed blank. He said to take you home, Miss Thompson. But Zara knew that tone, that cold, final tone. Taemin had stopped being her fiancé. He'd become something else. Something Richard was about to meet. 14 months ago, Zara was a divorced hotel worker in Atlanta. Saving money. Maybe school. Maybe starting over. 12 months ago, transferred to New York. 10 months ago, in the hotel parking garage when 3 guys tried robbing a man in an expensive suit. 9 months ago, she pulled that bleeding man behind a concrete pillar. Used her scarf to stop the bullet in his shoulder while robbers ran. 8 months ago, found out that man was Kim Tae-min, and his import business was actually the biggest Korean crime network in North America. Today, she was about to learn what happened when someone hurt the woman he loved. The apartment was silent when Ji-woo brought her home. Tae-min sat on the balcony, phone in hand, New York behind him, completely still, more terrifying than any anger. "Tell me, everything," he said quiet. "Every detail. Don't leave anything out." So she did. The storage room, Richard's hands, the threats about her visa, fighting back, getting fired, the fake reports, how Richard smiled when he promised to destroy her if she told. Tae-min didn't interrupt, didn't move, just listened with that scary focus, cataloging every word, every detail, every person who'd pay. When she finished, he put his phone down, very carefully. "He put his hands on you." "Yes." "He threatened you." "Yes." "He tried forcing you into sex by threatening your visa." "Yes." "And when you fought back, he fired you, wrote fake reports to destroy your reputation." "Yes." Tae-min stood, walked to her, put his hands on her face. Gentle, devastating. "Look at me." She met his eyes, saw the rage, controlled but absolutely deadly. "I'm going to destroy him," Tae-min said, each word precise, final. "Not just his job, his freedom, his life, everything, and I need you to. Tell me right now if you want me to stop." "He's done this before, he said so. How many other women?" "Then you understand why I can't let this go." She did. God help her, she did. "Don't kill him," she whispered. "I don't want you to kill him for me. I won't. Death's too easy. I want him to live a long life knowing he destroyed himself the day he touched you." He kissed her forehead. "Go shower, change. Ji-woo will stay with you. I have calls to make." Tae-min stood on the balcony, made 6 calls. First, his lawyer in Seoul. "I need everything on Richard James Ashford, work history, money, criminal record, everything. And I need security footage from the Grand Celestia 3rd floor storage room. Today, 10:17 a.m. I own the hotel. Get it before anyone deletes it." Second, his legal team in New York. "File ownership disclosure, today. I want it public that I own the Grand Celestia. I want every employee, every guest, every news outlet to know." Third, his hotel management, company. "Emergency board meeting, tomorrow, 9 a.m. Topic, criminal behavior by executive staff." Fourth, his private investigator. "Richard Ashford's done this before. Find his other victims, all of them. Names, dates, proof. Money's not an issue. I want evidence that puts him in prison." Fifth, NYPD Special Victims Unit. He had a contact, someone who owed him. "I have video of sexual assault at a workplace. Victim will press charges. I need this taken seriously." Sixth, his brother Min-jun, who handled the business that never saw daylight. "Hyung-nim," Min-jun answered. "I heard." "How bad?" "Sexual assault, attempted rape, fired her when she fought back, filed fake reports to destroy her." Long pause. "You want him dead?" "No. I want him in prison, sex offender registry. I want him to lose everything while he's still breathing. But I also want everyone who helped him. Security guards who saw her torn shirt and did nothing. HR who'll process this without investigating. Everyone who looked away. That's a lot of people. Then there's a lot of consequences. Get me everything on Ashford, every secret, every weakness, every person he's hurt. I want the full picture before I take him apart." "Got it." "Hyung-nim, the footage, if it exists." "It exists. Storage room has cameras. He doesn't know because it's new. I ordered upgraded security 3 months ago. He assaulted my fiancé on camera and doesn't even know yet. Minjun's breath caught. He's done. He just doesn't know it yet. Taemin hung up. Stood looking at the city. Somewhere out there, Richard was probably celebrating. Probably thought he won. Probably figured Zara was just another powerless woman he could use and throw away. In 8 hours, Richard would get an email about ownership. In 24 hours, cops would knock. In 72 hours, he'd be in jail. But first, Taemin needed proof. Evidence. The thing that would make this case bulletproof. One more call. Hotel's head of security. Guy reported to the GM but was actually employed by the owner. This is Kim Taemin. I own your hotel. I need security footage from third-floor storage room. Today, 10:15 to 10:30 a.m. Don't let anyone else see it or delete it. Copy it 3 times. Send one directly to me within the hour. If anyone tries stopping you, call me immediately. Understood? Yes, sir. Mr. Kim, sir. I didn't realize. Nobody did. That changes today. Get me that footage. He hung up. Went inside to find Zara. She was in the shower. He could hear her crying through the door. Not loud. Just quiet, broken sobs. Made his hands shake. Made him want to drive to the hotel right now and beat Richard unconscious. He'd promised not to kill him. He'd keep that promise. But he hadn't promised not to destroy him so completely that death would look like mercy. The email went out at 8:43 p.m. Every employee of the Grand Celestia chain. All 47 hotels. 12,000 employees. Worldwide. Subject: ownership disclosure and management changes. From Kim Taemin, owner and chairman, Celestia International Holdings. Richard was home in his Tribeca apartment, celebrating with $300 scotch. He'd handled the Zara situation perfectly. Another immigrant worker who thought she could reject him. Gone. Reputation ruined. System worked exactly like it was designed, protecting men like him. Phone buzzed, work email, almost ignored it. But the subject line caught his eye. Opened it. Read the first part. Felt his world start cracking. I'm publicly disclosing my ownership of the entire Grand Celestia hotel chain. For 3 years, I've operated through other companies to let management run things. But recent events at our New York hotel require my direct involvement. All executives must attend a meeting tomorrow at 8 a.m. to discuss restructuring and investigations into employee abuse. Richard's hands started shaking. Kim Taemin owned the hotel, the whole chain, which meant Kim Taemin was his boss. His actual boss. Which meant personal phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Ashford? Woman's voice, professional. Cold. This is Detective Sarah Chen, NYPD Special Victims Unit. I need you at the precinct tomorrow at 9 a.m. to answer questions about an incident at the Grand Celestia Hotel. Mouth went dry. What incident? Sexual assault complaint filed against you by Zara Thompson. We have video evidence we'd like you to review. You have the right to bring a lawyer. Call ended. Video evidence. Video evidence. The storage room. Did it have cameras? He'd never looked. Hotel upgraded security months ago. He approved the budget but didn't pay attention to where cameras went. Why would he need to? Oh God. Oh God. Phone rang again. His wife, Patricia. Richard, what the hell is this email? Since when does the hotel have a Korean owner? Since when are there investigations into employee abuse? What's going on? He couldn't answer. Couldn't form words. Because he was starting to understand how badly he'd messed up. Zara Thompson, the maid he cornered, assaulted, fired. Kim Taemin, owner of everything Richard thought he controlled. Could they be? No, that's impossible. She was a maid. He was... Work phone rang. Hotel security. Mr. Ashford, I need to tell you the owner requested all security footage from the third-floor storage room from today. The footage has been copied and sent to his lawyer, the police, and the board. Richard dropped the phone. It was over. Everything. Over. The video hit 6 inboxes at 6 a.m. The Board, the New York Post, Richard's wife, Hotel HR, NYPD. 3 lawyers representing former hotel employees. The footage was damning. Crystal clear. Time-stamped. Undeniable. Richard entering the storage room. Locking the door. Zara turning. Immediate tension in her body. Richard approaching while she backs away, his hand on her wrist, on her waist, moving toward her chest, her palm hitting his nose, her shoving him into shelves, her running. 11 minutes 43 seconds of video showing attempted rape. The Post ran it at 7:15 a.m. Grand Celestia GM caught on camera in sexual assault. Owner demands prosecution. They included stills. Richard's hand on Zara's waist, her face showing clear fear, him grabbing her. By 8 a.m., trending on social media. By 9 a.m., 4 more women contacted police. Patricia opened the email in their townhouse, watched the video of her husband of 19 years assaulting a hotel employee, watched him grab her, threaten her, try to force himself on her, called her lawyer. I want a divorce. Today. I want every asset, the house, the accounts, everything. He gets nothing. Patricia, we should wait until he's going to prison, you understand? I just watched video of him assaulting a woman at his hotel. When this goes to trial, when media finds out I stayed married to him, I become part of the story. I want him out of my life before that happens. She hung up, called her daughter at Columbia. Sweetheart, I need you home. Your father and I are getting divorced. There's going to be news coverage. I'll explain everything. Then forwarded the video to her sister, her best friend, Richard's mother. One line. This is who he really is. The board meeting started at 8 a.m. All 12 directors, plus Taman in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than Richard's monthly salary. Radiating quiet danger. Richard wasn't invited. The chairman pulled up the video. Made every director watch all 11 minutes 43 seconds. This is what our general manager did yesterday morning. At 2:15 p.m. he fired the victim, filed false reports saying she assaulted him. The footage is authentic. One director spoke first. How many others? We don't know yet, Taman said, voice calm, cold. But our investigators found 4 other women who worked here the past 3 years, left under suspicious circumstances. Sudden firings, quit without notice, all young, all minorities, all low-power positions. Jesus Christ. Our legal team is contacting them now. But regardless of how many victims exist, we have video of attempted rape, proof of retaliation. Richard Ashford's going to prison. The chairman looked pale. What about liability? If this goes public? It's already public, Taman said. The Post ran it an hour ago. By noon, every news outlet will have it. The question isn't whether we face scrutiny, it's whether we're helping or hiding. He stood, pulled up a presentation. Here's what happens. We fire Richard Ashford immediately. For cause. No severance. We issue a public statement condemning his actions, pledging full cooperation with police. We implement immediate changes, mandatory assault training for managers, third-party reporting system, zero tolerance for retaliation. And the victim? One director asked. Ms. Thompson? My fiancé, Taman said. Watched every face react, with shock. Will be offered full reinstatement, back pay, formal apology, a settlement reflecting what she endured. Additionally, I'm personally funding a sexual assault response center for hospitality workers, free legal aid, counseling, evidence help, advocacy, named after her. Silence around the table. Mr. Kim, the chairman said carefully, we didn't know she was your fiancé. Would it matter? If she was just a maid with no protection, would you care? His eyes went cold. That's the problem. Richard thought he could get away with it because she was powerless, and he was almost right, because the system protects predators in authority. One director shifted. What do you want from us? Your votes. Fire Richard Ashford immediately. Fire any manager or HR who helped cover this up. And announce a company-wide audit of all firings the past 5 years. Find other victims. The vote was unanimous. At 8:47 a.m., Richard's work phone got an email. Your employment is terminated. Immediately for gross misconduct. At 9 a.m., 2 NYPD detectives knocked on his door with a warrant. Richard was arrested at 9:23 a.m. in his bathrobe, Patricia watching from the stairs with cold satisfaction as they cuffed him. Richard James Ashford, you're under arrest for attempted rape, sexual assault, and criminal retaliation. You have the right to remain silent. The perp walk made evening news. Richard in handcuffs, being walked out of his building, cameras flashing, reporters shouting questions. Mr. Ashford, is it true you assaulted multiple employees? Did you use your position to coerce women? How many victims are there? He kept his head down, said nothing, driven to central booking. But the real damage came when other women started coming forward. Maria Santos, former housekeeper, fired 14 months ago. He cornered me in the laundry room, said he could help with my visa. When I said no, I was terminated the next week for poor performance. Jessica Chen, former front desk, quit 8 months ago. He grabbed me in his office, tried to kiss me. When I pulled away, he told me I'd never work at a luxury hotel in this city again. I believed him. So I quit. Keisha Williams, former room service, fired 2 years ago. Same storage room, same threats, same lies when I reported it to HR. They told me it was my word against his. Who were they going to believe? And then the one that made national news. Sophie Laurent, former concierge, working at a Boston hotel now. He raped me, 2 years ago, in his office after a late shift. I was on a work visa from France. He told me he'd have me deported if I told anyone. I believed him. I still have nightmares. By hour 36, 7 women came forward. 7 women with stories matching Zara's almost exactly, cornered in isolated spaces, threats about visas, careers, reputations, and when they refused or reported, terminated or forced to quit. The DA held a press conference. This isn't one incident. This is a pattern of predatory behavior spanning years. Richard Ashford used his authority to sexually exploit vulnerable employees, and when they resisted, he weaponized the immigration system and his managerial power to silence them. Richard's bail, $500,000. Patricia refused to pay. He sat in Rikers Island, and every day brought new evidence, new witnesses, new testimony burying him deeper. The trial was a media circus. 8 women testified. The video played in court. All 11 minutes 43 seconds. Zara's face visible, her fear undeniable, Richard's intentions crystal clear. His defense attorney tried arguing consent. Mistaken intentions, misunderstanding. The video destroyed every argument. The prosecutor was devastating in closing. You've seen the video. You've heard from 8 women. You've seen the pattern. Richard Ashford didn't make a mistake. He didn't misread signals. He systematically targeted vulnerable women, immigrants, minorities, women with temporary work visas, because he believed they had no power to stop him. He believed the system would protect him. The jury took 4 hours. Guilty? All counts. Attempted rape, sexual assault, 3 counts of criminal retaliation, pattern of predatory behavior. The judge sentenced him to 12 years. Mandatory sex offender registration after release. Mr. Ashford, the judge said, you used your authority to prey on vulnerable women for years. You weaponized the immigration system, workplace power, your victims' fear. This sentence reflects the severity of your crimes and the lives you damaged. Richard showed no emotion as they led him away in handcuffs, but Zara, sitting in the gallery with Taemin's hand in hers, felt something break loose in her chest. It was over. He was gone. He'd never hurt anyone again. While Richard sat in prison, everything else crumbled. Patricia's divorce finalized. She got the townhouse, 70% of assets, full custody of their daughter who'd changed her last name and refused all contact with her father. Richard's legal fees drained what was left. Every hotel exec he'd networked with for years distanced themselves, blacklisted from the industry. His name synonymous with predator, abuser, criminal. His mother released a public statement. I raised my son to respect women. I don't know the man he became. I support his victims and hope they find peace. Even in prison, his reputation preceded him. Sex offenders don't do well in general population. He was in protective custody, isolated, alone. But the real victory wasn't his suffering. It was what came after. 6 months after Richard's conviction, Tae-min took Zara to a building in Manhattan's Koreatown. Former office building, completely renovated. New sign going up, the Zara Thompson Center for Workplace Safety and Survivor Advocacy. I don't want my name on it, she said immediately. Too bad. Your name means something now. Survivors see it and know someone fought back. And won. He led her inside. The lobby was beautiful. Warm. Welcoming. Safe. Comfortable furniture. Soft lights. Private rooms. First floor is legal services, Tae-min explained. Lawyers specializing in workplace assault, harassment, wrongful termination, visa issues. All free. Second floor is counseling. Therapists who get workplace trauma. Assault recovery. Immigration anxiety. He opened another door. Third floor is documentation and evidence support. We help victims preserve evidence, file police reports, navigate the legal system, tech experts who can recover deleted messages, workplace security footage, anything that might help their case. Zara walked through, seeing consultation rooms, a small library of legal resources, a training center. Fourth floor, Tae-min continued, is advocacy and education. We train HR departments, run workplace safety seminars, publish research on predatory patterns in hospitality industries. We're creating the handbook that should have existed to protect you. How is this funded? Richard seized assets covered setup. My businesses provide ongoing funding, permanent endowment. This place will run for decades. And we're not just helping hospitality workers. Any workplace assault survivor can come here. Zara stopped in the middle of the second-floor counseling suite. Why my name? Why not just call it a survivor center? Because you're not anonymous. You didn't hide. You testified. You let media use your name. You became the face of fighting back. He touched her face. Some survivors need anonymity, but others need to see that you can fight and win and live publicly after. Your name tells them that's possible. She understood. Didn't like it. But understood. I want to work here, she said. I was hoping you'd say that. We need a director. Someone who understands what survivors need because she lived it. I'm not qualified to. You're the most qualified person I know. You navigated the system. You know its failures. You know what would have helped you. We'll hire operations people, lawyers, counselors. But the vision, the mission, the soul of this place, that should come from you. She looked around the space. At the private rooms where survivors could tell their stories safely, the legal offices where they could get real help, the counseling suites where they could begin to heal. When do we open? 2 months. We're still hiring, setting up systems, training staff, but we're already getting calls. Women who saw your case and are ready to come forward about their own. We're estimating 200 clients first month alone. The center opened on a cold November morning. The ribbon cutting drew media attention, not just because of the scandal that sparked it, but because of what it represented. Zara stood at the podium. Navy suit. No longer invisible. No longer silent. 8 months ago, I was assaulted by my boss in a storage room. I fought back. Got fired for it. For several hours, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd lost everything. My job, my visa, my future. She looked at Taemin in the crowd, his eyes locked on hers. But I had something most survivors don't. Protection, resources, someone who believed me without question and had the power to help me fight back. This center exists because I was lucky, because I had privilege most workplace assault survivors don't have. Her voice strengthened. But you shouldn't need a powerful fiancé to get justice. You shouldn't need connections or wealth or luck to be believed when you report assault. This center exists, so every worker, regardless of immigration status, regardless of language, regardless of whether they have anyone to protect them, has access to the same resources I had. First month, 247 people served. Month 6, 1,500 survivors helped. They'd won 34 workplace assault cases, gotten 12 predatory managers fired, helped 45 survivors get visa extensions after employers threatened deportation, provided free therapy to 200+ people who couldn't afford it. Every person who walked through those doors got to tell their story without judgment, without dismissal, without being told it was their word against someone more powerful. One afternoon, a young woman came in, Latina, early 20s, restaurant worker. Her manager had been assaulting her for 3 months, threatening to call ICE if she reported. Zara sat across from her in a consultation room. "Tell me everything. Don't leave anything out." The woman broke down. "I thought I was alone. I thought no one would believe me. I thought I'd get deported." "I believe you. And we're going to help you fight. We have immigration lawyers, employment lawyers, therapists, advocates. You're not alone anymore." 3 months later, that manager was arrested. The woman got a U visa for crime victims, allowed to stay in the country, started working at a restaurant with proper HR policies, managers who didn't prey on staff. That night, Zara found Taemin on their penthouse balcony, looking out over the city where the center's lights glowed in Koreatown. "How many today?" he asked. 18 new consultations, 4 cases moving to prosecution, 6 survivors starting therapy. One woman who just wanted someone to believe her story, even if she's not ready to press charges yet. He pulled her against his chest. "You're changing lives. We're changing lives. You built this." "I wrote the checks." "You're doing the actual work." She turned to face him. "You know what the best part is? Richard tried to destroy me, tried to make me powerless, silent, afraid. And instead, he gave me purpose. Every survivor I help, every predator we prosecute, every woman who walks out of that center with hope, that's his legacy. Not the pain he caused, what we built from it." "That's not revenge," Taemin said quiet. "That's transformation." "It's better than revenge. Richard is in prison. But that doesn't help anyone else. This center helps hundreds of people. Prevents future Richards from getting away with it. Turns my worst day into someone else's hope." She looked out over Manhattan, at the city that had almost broken her, but instead gave her purpose. He thought assault and termination would destroy me, but all he did was show me exactly what needed to exist in the world. 9 months after the center opened, Zara and Taemin finally planned their wedding, engaged for almost 2 years. But after everything, the assault, the trial, building the center, they were ready. "My mother's gonna have opinions," Taemin warned, adjusting his tie. Korean ceremony in the morning, American reception in the evening. 2 cultures, 1 marriage. Public declaration they were done hiding. "My mama's gonna have opinions about her opinions," Zara said, fastening diamond earrings. A gift from Taemin's mother, actually. Sent ahead as a peace offering. This is either beautiful chaos or a disaster. Both. Definitely both. Taemin's family flew in from Seoul 3 days early. His mother, Park Soo-jin, elegant, intimidating, understated designer clothes. His father, Kim Jae-sung, quiet but radiating authority. his brother Minjun, who Zara knew and trusted, various cousins, aunts, uncles, all curious about the American woman who'd turned an assault into a national advocacy movement. First dinner was tense. Zara's family, her mom Diane, her two sisters Kennedy and Jade, her grandmother Ruth, three aunties, filled the private dining room with Atlanta warmth, volume, opinions. Taemin's family brought sole formality, careful observation, weight of old-world expectations. Soo-jin studied Zara across the table, sharp, assessing eyes, not hostile, evaluating. Finally, she spoke in careful English. You testified in court, very public, very brave. I didn't feel brave, Zara said honest. I felt angry. Anger that leads to action is better than bravery that leads to silence. Soo-jin's expression softened fractionally. You could have stayed quiet, could have let my son handle everything privately, but you stood up publicly. That matters. Zara's grandmother, Ruth, 84 years old and afraid of absolutely nothing, set down her wine glass. Looked directly at Soo-jin. Your son loves my granddaughter, protects her, honors her, built a whole center in her name. That's all I need to know about your family. Soo-jin held Ruth's gaze, then smiled. A real smile. Your granddaughter saved my son's life before she even knew who he was. Pulled him behind a pillar during a robbery. Stopped his bleeding with her scarf. That's all I need to know about yours. The tension broke like a snapped thread. By dessert, Diane and Soo-jin were comparing notes on raising sons in different cultures. They're all stubborn. Doesn't matter if they're Korean or American. Minjun was teaching Kennedy and Jade Korean drinking toasts. Zara's aunties were demanding introductions to any single Korean men in Taemin's organization. Baby, you married well. Share the wealth. Taemin leaned close to Zara. Your family is overwhelming? Perfect. They're perfect. Wedding morning was beautiful chaos. Traditional Korean ceremony at a historical venue. Zara in a crimson hanbok that Soo-jin helped her choose. Made her feel like royalty. Taemin in traditional formal wear, looking like he stepped out of a historical drama. The ceremony was full of rituals Zara had studied. Bowing to elders, exchanging wooden geese, symbols of faithfulness, sharing cups of yeongjang, ceremonial wine. When they performed the pieback, the formal greeting to Taemin's parents, Soo-jin placed dates and chestnuts in Zara's lap. Traditional symbols of children and blessings. You've made my son better, Soo-jin said in Korean, then English. Softer where he needed to be soft. Stronger where he needed to be strong. Welcome to our family. Zara's eyes burned with tears. She refused to let fall. He's made me stronger too. Braver. More myself. Evening reception was pure fusion, Manhattan venue that Taemin rented entirely. Decorated in both Korean and American traditions. Korean food and Seoul food side by side. Kimchi and collard greens. Bulgogi and fried chicken. Tteokbokki and mac and cheese. DJ mixing K-pop and R&B. Decor that somehow made hanbok fabric and African patterns work perfectly together. Zara wore a white Vera Wang gown that made Taemin's eyes go dark with want. Taemin wore a Tom Ford tux that made her aunties whisper loudly about how well that man wears a suit. During their first dance, to a song blending traditional Korean instruments with American R&B, Taemin pulled her close, whispered in Korean, then English. You know what you did to me? Tell me. Changed everything. I used to think power was about control, making people fear you, never showing weakness. But you taught me real power is protecting people so well they can build something beautiful. That strength isn't hiding emotions. It's being brave enough to feel them. She touched his face. You were always capable of this. You just needed a reason. You're my reason, my conscience, my courage. He kissed her softly, not caring 200 people were watching. My everything. Her mom pulled her aside during the reception, tears in her eyes. Baby, when you first told me about Taemin, about what he did for a living, I was terrified. Thought you were getting mixed up in something dangerous. Mama. But watching him look at you, seeing what he built for you, that center, the way he destroyed that man who hurt you, then turned it into something good? Diane cupped Zara's face. That man loves you with everything he has, and he uses his power to protect others, not just you. That's all any mother can ask for. I love him, Mama, even the dangerous parts. I know, baby, I know. The speeches were perfect. Minjun made everyone cry. I've watched my brother build an empire, but I've never seen him build anything as carefully as he built a life worthy of Zara. That's how I know this is real. Kennedy made everyone laugh. Zara married a man who literally prosecuted someone for assaulting her, then built a nonprofit in her honor. The bar for the rest of us is now impossibly high. Thanks a lot, sis. Near midnight, Zara stood on the venue balcony with Taemin, looking out over Manhattan where their life had nearly ended and instead transformed. This is your happy ending, her mother had said earlier. But Zara knew better. This isn't an ending, she told Taemin. His arms wrapped around her from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. This is our beginning. The real work starts now. The center. Helping survivors. Changing systems. We're just getting started. He kissed her temple. Then let's make it count. Inside, their families danced together. Korean and American. Seoul and Atlanta. Two cultures that decided love mattered, more than difference. Outside, the city sparkled with possibility, and Zara realized something. Richard Ashford tried to destroy her, tried to make her powerless, silent, ashamed. Instead, he gave her a purpose, a platform, proof that fighting back was possible. She wouldn't thank him, would never forgive him. But she'd stopped letting him define her story. This was her story now, and it was just beginning. If you made it this far, drop a comment. Have you ever faced workplace harassment? How did you handle it? Share your story below. Hit that subscribe button right now. Next week, we're telling you how Zara saved Taemin's life during that parking garage robbery. 3 armed men, a bullet wound. Her scarf stopped the bleeding. She had no idea she was saving Seoul's most dangerous man. You're not going to want to miss that origin story. And remember this, you deserve safety at work. You deserve to be believed when you report assault. You deserve justice. Fighting back is possible, even when the system feels stacked against you. There are women like Zara everywhere, waiting for someone to believe them, waiting for resources to fight, waiting for proof that predators don't always win. Be that proof. Be that resource. Be that person who believes them.